tonight. I've come down at East Lane in Suffolk with Ricky Nash, fishing into some fairly roughish ground. I reckon that was a double to try pulling my rods in earlier, and now I ain't getting any more, to be honest with you. But yeah, well done, mate.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Lovely job, mate. Well done. You're another Suffolk hound. Look at that. Another East Lane hound. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing, mate. I reckon you. I don't know. Well, I don't know. You're doing me, but. Hello and welcome to what I call the battlements at East Lane. Now those clips you just saw at the start of this video were from 10 years ago on this night. I came down here with a friend of mine called Ricky Nash, not expecting much, and as you can see from that video, there was a few fish caught. We had hounds, bass, doggies, and all in all, it was quite a good session for the Suffolk coast. So what I thought I'd do is, I thought I'd come out and fish the same place 10 years later and see what we can catch. Now it's changed a lot around here. As you'll see in front of me, there is a fence, and we were fishing the other side of that little fence. Now the problem tonight is, one, there's pots there, and two, it's a little bit more hairy than what it was last time I came here. Last time I came here, you could get down to the actual wall, cast off the wall. You could get some distance, but now, due to coastal erosion, that wall has disappeared. It's very dangerous, very, very dangerous. And I, for one, do not want to be walking down there in the dark. Call me a wimp, call me other names that can be associated with a wimp, whatever you want to call me. But, unfortunately, I've got a little girl at home now. And I don't want to be falling down into some rocks and ending up in hospital at the very least. So, I'm going to fish just to the right of them, where I fished before. There's no pots in front of me here. And like I say, I just want to see what we can get out. Hounds? Maybe not. The weather is blowing up southwesterly. High tide, I think, is at around about 11 o'clock, if I remember rightly. So 7:30 is 3 hours up. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fish it 3 up and 3 down, and just see if I can get anything out of it. Who knows if we'll see hounds, like I say, but we might see other species. But it's just as interesting to see whether it fishes the same as it did 10 years ago, and we can get some fish out. So, stick with me. The 10-year reunion of the East Lane battlements. Unfortunately, Ricky can't be with me tonight. He's not been very well, bless him. But I was speaking to him the other day, and I'm hoping to get him out with me either sometime early next year and get some fishing done with him. So, like I say, East Lane battlements, 10 years later. Let's see if we can get some fish. Well, that's first cast now, ready to go out. Just going to show you what I'm using tonight. Yes, I'm only using one rod. Why am I only using one rod? Because in this area here, I don't like faffing around with 2 rods. You've got to climb down, climb up, etc. So I just stick with the one rod. So I was going to bring the Verret, but I've got the trusty M4 GT. Blue 7HT. And with that, I'm fishing a dongle rig. And on the end of the dongle, frozen blacks and ragworm. Ooh, the perfect cocktail for fishing around here to see what we can get. The question is, like I say, is there going to be any fish out here? Really couldn't tell you. It's going to be interesting, I know that. Where are you? It's going to be a very interesting session. It really is. Now, tide's not massive tonight at all. It's sort of building, to be honest with you, so we'll see. Could be good, could be bad. And I've just spotted a pot out near where I cast, so that's a bit of a baddie. However, let's crack on. Let's see if we can get any fish. Well, that first cast came back untouched. Left it out for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, so I now know I can leave it out for about half an hour because there's no crab activity out there, there's no little fish ripping the bait to pieces. It was virtually untouched, which could be a bad omen. We'll see, but it's first cast. And I always believe in the curse of the first cast because I've had so many sessions ruined by catching a decent fish on the first cast and then catching nothing else at all. So, bait number 2, exactly the same again. That's all I'm fishing with tonight. Rag and frozen blacks. Let's crack on. While we're here, while we got a bait in the water, you just never know. Anything could happen. Well, this is third cast. And literally so far, I've had and seen nothing. This place doesn't really normally fish better until the ebb tide though. So, get down a bit more. We've got a little bit of time. We've got quite a lot of time actually to see if we can get anything. I'm hoping that sooner or later we might see at least a doggy. No, I'm being, in all seriousness, I do hope it starts to fish well. It'd be nice to get some fish, just as obviously the memory of 10 years ago fishing here. But fishing has changed a lot in 10 years. It's changed a heck of a lot, to be honest with you. The fishing is nowhere near as good as it used to be. Fish stocks have declined, etc, 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 unless you live in places where you can fish the amazing beaches like Chesil, Wales and places like that where you can get some good bags of fish. But the rest of the country is nothing like it used to be, unfortunately, which is a shame, a massive shame, but hey ho, these things happen. While the fishing's a bit slow, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a backstory on this session. I touched on it at the start, but this, as I've said, is literally the same spot 10 years later. 10 years ago, if you don't know, I was doing YouTube videos with a different channel called Addicted to Angling. That petered out. We stopped doing those due to certain things. Me and Will were doing them together. We just grew apart. Didn't really do any more videos, which is a shame because I think it was probably, if not one of the, not first, but there weren't many YouTube channels around then like there is now. Now there's absolutely thousands. Every man and his dog is doing YouTube at the minute. But back then, it was just me and Will. And 10 years ago, my mate Ricky Nash messaged me, said, do you want to go out for a session? So I said, yeah, why not? Let's come down here. Let's see what's down here at East Lane. We both turned up with crab. If I remember rightly, the flood was a little bit slow again. Then Ricky started getting into hounds. Nothing big, all around about the 5-6 pound marker. I lost a big fish to the right-hand side of where I'm fishing. They're not there anymore. They probably are underwater, but there was a structure and I lost a fish. It went straight into the structure and snagged me up. I reckon that was a big hound. And we had bass, doggies, pouting, if I remember rightly. And it was a really, really good session. You know, it was really nice to come out. Nice social session. Like I say, I got it on camera. You've seen from the snippets. I look a little bit different now. And I didn't have the equipment I have now. But we came out and got some fish. And he messaged me the other day on the internet and basically a picture came up of him holding a hound. And he found it, and it was around this sort of time, like I say, 10 years ago. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to see what I can catch. The only difference tonight is I don't have fresh peeler. If I remember rightly on that night, I had local peeler from Breakaway Tackle, and he had Norfolk peeler. And the Norfolk peeler destroyed the local peeler. I don't know whether that's just the fact he can probably cast 100 yards further than me. Which he can, trust me, he can. Amazing, immense caster. Or whether it was the bait. And like I say, here I am back down here. And it is quiet, but the flood down here, as I've touched on as well, is normally quite quiet. So you're probably looking around about, I think it's a 11 o'clock high. I've just looked, it's an 11 o'clock high. So hopefully from 11 o'clock onwards, even if we don't see anything now, we might see a fish. Now I know this place can throw up codlin, random times of the year, but that's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. You get usual fish from here, you get your doggies, you get your rays, you get your hounds, but there hasn't been any hounds caught for a while around here. So I don't think we'll see any of them tonight. But a ray or a doggy will do me absolutely perfect, you know? I mean, to catch hounds, if I caught hounds tonight and I recreated that session from back then, that would be amazing. It really would be something to remember for the rest of my life, to be honest with you. But who knows? Who knows? Like I say, I've had a bite. I've had one little twitch on the rod tip. Probably a little pouting, trying to grab the bait and get it in its mouth. In the winter, this place throws up huge pouting. Poutzilla can come from here. I've had some big pouting from here, you know, sort of real big chunky fish. But that's casting further to the right because there's a lot of structure to the right. I'm casting onto the clean clay. Now, what I said earlier about out there, I've pots. They might be nets because I'm certain before the light faded, you got 1, you got 2, you got 3. Sort of in a line, but from this vantage point, I can't see whether they're directly in a line, but I'm sure I saw floats beside one of them. But unless it's a massive trawler going up and down, those nets are only covering that space of water. So any fish coming from around there, any fish coming alongside the rocks will still be within them nets. So you still got a chance of catching even though there's nets out there. Don't get me wrong, it may affect the fishing a little bit, but like I say, we're out here trying. And while we're trying, there's always a chance of a fish. Another lovely bait just went out. Fresh rag and frozen blacks. Like I say, that's what I'm using tonight. In my eyes, down here, lugworm, blacks, rag, crab when you can get it, are the baits to have. But who knows? Who knows? By the end of this video, we'll know whether it's fished as well as it did 10 years ago. It's now an hour before high, and I've got a bite. Hopefully you can see my rod tip. Slacking me off a little while ago, and it's now just tapping away. I don't think it's anything decent. Could be a whiting. Who knows? But it's a bite, and it's the first one of the session. I think whatever's there could be hooked. I'll give it another couple of little taps. Let's see if it goes. Like I say, to start off with, it slowly came back and then tapped again. There has been a couple of positive thumps on it. It's not banging erratically. It hasn't pulled round like a... There we go. There's something there. Whatever that is, I do not know. But it's a fish, and that is all that matters. Get that off. Right, I'm going to have to disappear off camera because to land this, whatever it is, I have to walk down some little steps made out of concrete that are not really steps. And then there's cobbles. So to avoid the cobbles, I have to go down some overhanging bush. While I'm going down, constantly winding all the time just to keep connection with it. And then just lift into it. I don't think I hooked whatever that was. Oh dear, well at least we've had a bite. That's all that matters. I can't feel any weight there at all. So maybe I should leave it a little bit longer, because whatever that was obviously mouthing the bait. But it weren't big. Probably a little pouting or a whiting or something like that. But it shows we're fishing the right area. And whatever that was has pulled that all the way down the dongle. So it definitely wasn't anything big at all. Don't know if you can see that. Bait's been pulled down the dongle, pulled off. I'm saying dogfish. But it's a bite and the fish are there. So that is a good sign. The fish are starting to show up. So we're coming to the top of the tide. Hopefully down the other side there'll be more fish. Hopefully it'll be something that gives a bit of a better bite than that. That ebb's just started. And with it, there's quite a bit of weed, which isn't great. Thought I had a lovely slack liner then. But unfortunately, lots of weed. So, it's now 11 o'clock at night. So I'm not going to put this one out as far. Nice little gentle flick out. Because that weed is immense out there. It really, I just pulled in a massive lump. So I'm thinking, fish a little bit closer, rather than banging it as hard as I can. See if I can keep out the weed there. You never know, might pick a bass up. And then next cast, put it out again and see if the weed is still there at distance, and keep trying it until that tide drops off and we can get through that weed and hopefully get a fish. But this is now when it should start fishing the best. The best chance of a fish from here is on the ebb. So I think it's now just about 20 past 11. I reckon midnight-ish we might start seeing some fish, but who knows. Well, it's now midnight, which is an hour after the start of the ebb. And so far, I haven't even seen a rattle. Just as that ebb turned, hussed a rag bait out quite far, completely clogged with weed. And I say clogged, I mean there was loads of weed. So the next cast, which is the one you just saw, the last cast, put that in close. There was weed on that as well. However, this one, I've banged out, and so far, it's holding. Tip isn't pulling around slowly, getting heavier and heavier. It is just sitting there. So hopefully I'm fishing effectively now. But like I say, it's an hour down, so I'm hoping that weed was literally just the start of the ebb. The first hour of the ebb, I'm hoping that weed just came through, bit of tide run, and now it's stopped. But we'll see. We'll find out in a little while. When I reel this in, I'll give this another 20 minutes, half an hour, and then see what happens. But it's dead. It's so different to the last time I was here. But last time we were here, by now they were having fish. You know, there was hounds on there was bass, like I say, and it's just dead. It shows you how the fishing has changed in 10 years. Weather's more or less the same as well. You know, we have had a bit of a stir up, but today it's calm as anything tonight. That night we went out, it was totally calm. It's just a lot quieter. Like I say, there's no hounds about. And I would have thought by now I would have seen a doggy. I haven't even seen a doggy. And that is bad. You know, that is quite bad. But we'll see. Like I say, we've got an hour and a half to 2 hours to go. Let's see if we can just pinch a fish. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my very last rag and black lug combo bait going out. It's now around about 1 o'clock. And this ebb has been atrocious. It has been weed city. Weed, weed, and more weed. Would it have fished if the weed weren't there? Who knows? What I do know is this is the last roll of the dice. The very last roll of the dice to see if we can pluck something out. Yes, if I'd have gone on flappers or something like that, I probably would have caught. Oop-ah. But I want to try and get a ray or something like that, you know. That was my target tonight, something half decent. But unfortunately, so far, it hasn't happened. Like I say, last roll of the dice. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'll give this half an hour, and then I'm going to pack up and go home. It is what it is. I'm on the run for a blank. That is really not good. Scratching next week it is to just try and get a fish. But last chance lottery, last roll of the dice. Can I pull one out on this last cast? Who knows? The next half an hour will give us that answer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the session. And what a session it was. No fish, loads of weed. Hey ho, it's all good fun. We came, we tried. I really wanted to do this session just because the idea came in my head the other day. 10 years later, can I recreate the session from 10 years ago? No, I couldn't. But it has been nice being out. I am starting to get a bit chilly though. Temperatures are dropping at night, so it's gonna have to be a coat next time, I reckon. Should I have gone somewhere else? Yes. Did I come here and blank? Yes. Checkbook and pen, blankety blank. Thank you very much and good night. So it's now 1:30. I'm calling that a night. I'm gonna pack up. I'm gonna go home. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it if you got this far, or even if you just watched the video. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who watches my videos. Like I say, I appreciate every single one of you. This channel is growing nicely. Don't get me wrong, this winter I am going to be travelling a few places. Not too far because of the little babe, but I will be going some places. Getting some good fishing in. I know exactly where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. So hopefully the winter videos will be half decent for you. Anyway, rather than waffling on, I'm going to get packed up and get in the warm. So, if you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Helps massively. It's free to do as well. It costs you nothing. And give the video a like and leave me a comment. I will try and reply to every comment that you leave. I'm cold. I'm going home. Thank you very much for watching. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you by the water very soon.